Today, we are going to be reviewing the Spark 40 from Positive Grid. This has become one of the most popular bedroom amps over the last few years, and it's pretty easy to see why. With its $250 price tag and small frame, as well as the fact that the Spark app lets you choose from hundreds of different amp effects and pedals and different sounds, it's easy to see why it's so popular. But is it worth it? Is it right for you? That's the question I'm going to try to answer today. The first thing that I noticed is the two custom 4-inch speakers that come with it sound pretty good for the most part on lower volumes. I don't have the volume cranked super loud in my room. Once you start to really drive it and get it up louder, it starts to break up a little bit. You hear some rumbling in the lower frequencies, sort of like a weird fizziness. I'm not sure how too audible that is to you guys right now. It's not too bad though at the level I have it at. As long as you keep it bedroom level, it sounds pretty solid. That's pretty fun. The other thing that really stuck out to me right away is how small it is. For size comparison, here is the Marshall MG 15 watt amp, another very popular bedroom amp. As you can see, it is actually a fair bit bigger than the Spark. It's a bit taller, they're about the same width. This one's definitely heavier. One thing I really like about this amp is that it feels very solid for a practice amp, which is not always the case. I have a Orange Crush 12 watt amp. That thing doesn't feel as solid as this does. It also comes with a portable faux leather strap, so it makes traveling with it super easy. I've already taken it to and from the house. I've owned this amp for about 2 weeks now, so I feel like I'm in a good spot to give my full thoughts on this thing. So if we take a look at this amp right now, it has pretty standard layout for the controls. You have a master volume, an output, gain, bass, mid, treble. There's also built-in delay and reverb, which I will now demonstrate. You turn up the reverb. Bruh. Anyways, that's the reverb. Here's the delay. sound too bad. They definitely sound like a plugin, though. There's a weird spaciness to them that doesn't sound quite real. It sounds almost like it's being played out of the side of the amp rather in front of it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you were here in the room with me, I think you would understand what I'm saying. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with the built-in sounds that this thing has. I've been playing mostly the metal channel because I am a metal guy, but this does have some lower gain channels. I believe this is our crunch one. Nope, that was actually our glass channel. This is the crunchy one. So they sound pretty good. Here's the clean one. Now, let's try the clean one. Not too shabby, I would say. The sound quality isn't bad by any means, but I also wouldn't describe it as great. There's definitely a weird scooped quality to a lot of the channels that comes with it. Even with the mids boosted pretty high. That's a little better, I guess. But you know what? At $250, I don't think is really fair to ask for the best sound quality. This is more for just kind of jamming in your bedroom or, you know, for recording. I am miking this up with an SM57, although it does come with a DI recording feature. All you have to do is plug in a USB cable to the back and hook that up to your computer. And if you're on PC, I think you have to install an ASIO to record a DI, but it's really not that difficult. But the real draw of this thing is, of course, the Spark app, which I will now be demonstrating for you guys. Really simple. Once you download the app, all you have to do is connect it to your amp. The connecting is super easy, happens almost instantaneously. And this is the thing that really made me want to buy this amp, is the fact that you get all of these different existing amps and pedals. The funny thing is they clearly could not get the copyright to use the actual names of the amps, so they had to come up with little code names. Like this one here is clearly a Marshall, but they couldn't call it that. Sounds pretty good though. It sounds like a Marshall. Another fun thing about the app is the tone cloud, which lets you search up existing presets. One of my favorite ones is the Ride the Lightning tone from Metallica. It's one of my favorite guitar tones of all time. Let's see. That one doesn't sound quite right to me. Let's try a different one. That's a little bit better, in my opinion. One thing you have to watch out for with these tone cloud presets is the fact that some of them don't sound the best. And not only that, some of them are quite loud, so watch your ears. I would definitely recommend turning the volume down on your guitar when testing this thing out. See what I mean? That was definitely a bit louder. But you know what? Let's try and recreate our own Ride the Lightning tone. Now, I've been messing around with this thing for a while, so I know that the best amp to use for that is this one, the RB101. For the overdrive, let's go with the classic tube screamer. And we'll go over and select this graphic EQ. Scoop out the mids just like Metallica would, and yeah, I know I didn't play that anywhere near as well as they do. Remember, just because you can sound like Metallica doesn't mean you're Metallica. Alright. One thing I dislike about the app is the fact that you can't stack multiple of the same type of effects, so you can't have more than one delay, can't have more than one modulator or EQ, which is a shame, because if you want a graphic EQ and like one of these phasers, you can't run them at the same time. This app does contain, I think, maybe the funniest pedal I've ever seen, and it's this vibrato pedal. If you turn it up low, doesn't sound that weird, right? Just kind of adds a little bit of nice movement. It's pretty pleasant, but if you crank it all the way, I don't know why the hell you would ever want it that intense, but hey, there's the option for that. Overall, I really dig the app. I love the freedom this thing offers. I'll try one more amp, and that's the tread plate, which I think is probably the best sounding out of all of them here. Let's go back and, you know what, this time I'm going to leave the mids alone. Because I don't mind a mid-heavy metal tone. So yeah, if you want to get Cannibal Corpse's guitar tone, you can do that too. Oh, one thing I almost forgot to mention is that this does have a music jack, so you can plug in your phone or other device and play music, and then you basically match the output to the music level, and that's how you can jam along to that. There's also a tuner built into here that I forgot to mention, and it's pretty cool. You hold down this button here until the flashing light stops flashing, and then the 5 lights on top basically act as your tuner meter, and you'll know it's in tune when the middle one lights up green, which is another really cool feature. I don't use that personally, I just use the tuner on my phone, but if you want to use this one, I think that's a nice touch. I'm glad that's there. Oh, one of the last features I want to mention about the app is the fact that it does have a chord chart maker. So if you go to that setting, it'll actually listen to you playing chords and create a chord chart for you to follow along to. In my opinion, it doesn't work super well. It keeps thinking all of my G's and D chords are A's and E's or something like that. It was pretty weird. But whatever, you may have better success with it than I did. The other cool thing is you can create some drum loops to play along to. So it'll listen to whatever riff you're playing and suggest drum beats for you to play along to. So if you want to, you know, write your own songs, come up with cool ideas, you can basically jam with yourself, which I think is pretty neat. Me personally, I just like using this thing for messing around with different guitar tones and playing cool thrash metal riffs because I am a thrash metal guy at heart. Shout out to Malpractice. Those guys are sick. If you haven't heard of them, check out their stuff. They're awesome dudes from here in the Bay. And sorry for butchering your song. Overall, I think this amp is pretty cool, but now the main question is it worth $250? And that's going to entirely depend on what you're looking for out of this thing. If you're a beginner or someone who's just looking for a solid amp to jam with or record with in your bedroom, then yeah, you're probably really going to like this thing, like I do. But if you're a pro musician or you already have a super nice rig, then this definitely isn't going to replace any of that. You're probably best sticking with that gear. But ultimately, the decision of is it worth it is down to you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'll see you later.